Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook. Bring you our NFL Week 8 preview between the Dallas Cowboys and the Detroit Lions. Now let's take a look at some keys to victory for both teams, starting with the Cowboys.
This is a huge battle between the Cowboys and the Lions, so let's go inside the lab to take a look at some X's and O's in this matchup.
One thing that the Dallas Cowboys do well, they can move the tight end in the running game, but this week versus Detroit, they're going to have to make sure they move that tight end when they sense Detroit is going to either blitz from their linebackers or try to stunt up front. And if they can move the tight end and get better angles on the outside running the stretch play, I think it could pop for a big gain. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Right here, you see you have double tight ends on the line of scrimmage. Receivers are off. You want to shift. You want to put this guy up on the line of scrimmage so you can bring this guy down and put him in motion. Now, what we're trying to do is get him in motion to double down on the outside backer, and hopefully he can work up to the strong safety. So we want to run the stretch out here because we're anticipating the Lions of coming inside on stunts. The defensive linemen are trying to shoot inside. We're going to blitz the backers here. So that way we can pick up the blitz and also protect ourselves versus the stunt by taking that zone step, getting the outside shoulder, reaching those defensive linemen and trying to reach that outside backer. So let me show you what I'm talking about here, the different color marker. We're going to bring the tight end over in motion now. Outside leg of the tackle, you want to snap the ball. Again, working that outside shoulder. He is buzzing to work that outside shoulder, working up to the strong safety. You have your receivers blocking the corners. Hopefully the free safety is out of the play and everyone is stepping in to try to get the inside shoulder. Stepping in, trying to get this nose block. Center is picking up this blitz if it comes. Picking up the blitz if it's coming. If not, work up to the second level. Outside shoulder. Everyone's attacking the outside shoulder. Back is shooting for his landmark, which is outside leg of the tight end. And now you can also reverse out Tony Romo in case you want to do play action pass where you bring guys back across the formation, but you look at the outside zone, the stretch play. I think this is a big play that can pop versus Detroit because we know the Lions, again, will try to get aggressive up front with those 2D tackles, and they would love to blitz a linebacker or two in certain obvious running situations, as is short yardage and goal line. But if they can block it like this, I think they could have some success. For the Detroit Lions, they want to take advantage of an over-aggressive linebacking core in the running game. And one play that I love a lot, used to run it a lot in college, it was called the deuce play. And what that is, it's a misdirection weak side play designed to take advantage of fast flowing linebackers. I'm going to show you how they can get Reggie Bush to the second level and hopefully pop for a big gain. What we're going to do, we're going to pull the backside tackle, and how we're going to set it up, we're going to have the play side tackle here, and this is versus a 40 front. We're going to have the play side tackle set up as if he's pass blocking to influence this defensive end up the field, and his job is to kick him out, get him out the way. We got a combo block with the center and the guard on this defensive tackle here, with the guard working up to block the middle backer. So combo to the backer. We're going to have backside, we're going to have the tight end work up to get that backer block. We're going to man on man right here, guard, defensive tackle, and we're pulling around the backside tackle, leading up in the hole, taking a short jab step and shooting right there. Quarterback opens out, hands the ball off, and hopefully that tight end does get a good chip and then work up to that backer. But that's called the deuce, and that's one of the best plays you can run weak side versus an over-aggressive linebacking core, because once you show motion this way, guess who's going that way? Those linebackers trying to fill those gaps and getting their run fits, and you come back the other way, could be a big play for the Detroit Lions in the running game.
Now here are some coaching points for both teams in this ball game. For the Cowboys, the safeties must stay true to the definition of the position. Deeper than the deepest man. We know Matt Stafford will be able to outthrow coverage, but those safeties have to stay deep so that way they can get over top of those big plays they're trying to hit downfield. And you want to force the quick pass by Matthew Stafford. Get him to get rid of that football quickly so you can rally up and make a play. And change is still money. Don't be afraid to nickel and dime your way down the field. It all adds up in the end with time of possession, points on the scoreboard. So don't try to go for the big play early. Try to work your way down the field and you can have some success. And for the Lions in this ball game, you don't want to make this game about Stafford versus Romo. You want to make it about balance versus a defense that's missing their top pass rusher in DeMarcus Ware. And that interior offensive line has to step up and play better. They're going against a very good defensive front in the Cowboys. They have to do a better job of keeping Matt Stafford well protected. And you want to get creative in your secondary with Louis Delmas. I'm just a big fan of his game, and I think he could have a huge impact versus this Cowboys passing attack, especially the way they love to attack the middle of the field. I like the Cowboys in this ball game. I can trust their offensive passing attack to do a great job of spreading the field, and on defense, I think they will play like they did last week versus Philadelphia. So I think they go on the road and knock off the Lions. Next up, we have the Washington Redskins traveling out to Denver to take on the Broncos. And here are some coaching points in this ball game. The Washington Redskins' intermediate passing game will be key. If they can attack the short to intermediate zone in that defense of the Denver Broncos, they could have some success. And I would also find ways to get creative with Brian Arakpo and Ryan Kerrigan, the two outstanding edge rushers. Find ways to get those guys moved across that formation to apply pressure on Peyton Manning. And I would lean on that Broncos defensive line with the ground game. Slow the pace of the game down, work that offense running the football, and that way you'll be able to operate off play action. And for the Broncos in this ball game, spacing versus this 3-4 defense will prove to be successful. You have to widen out that pressure. That way you can easily identify where those guys are coming from. And the big battle that has to be won up front is between center Manny Ramirez and Barry Cofield, the defensive tackle for the Washington Redskins. Ramirez has to win that battle throughout the course of the ball game. And you want to take advantage of an aggressive secondary in Washington. I think they'll do just that. So that's why I like the Broncos to knock off the Redskins, who will be able to put a lot of pressure on their defense because of the way they play offense. But I think ultimately the Broncos come away victorious. NFC North battle between Green Bay and Minnesota, and here are some coaching points for both teams in this ball game. For the Packers, number one, you want to keep it inside the numbers in a passing game. I think you can have a lot of success throwing the football over the middle of the field without a Harrison Smith back there playing center field. And I would blow up the fullback and set the edge defensively. That's how you stop the Vikings running game. When they have a fullback in the backfield, you want to take him on with the wrong shoulder. You also want to set the edge when they try to run outside. And you want to test Ponder's patience on defense. See how long he wants to hold that football and force him to go through his progressions, and I think you'd have some success against this offense. And for the Vikings in this ball game, Ponder's mobility will be key. He's a guy that can extend the play, can also pick up those cheap 3 to 4 yards with his legs, and that's how you can move the football versus Green Bay if you're Minnesota. And those cornerbacks have to be able to locate the football, otherwise it's going to be death by 1,000 cuts due to the back shoulder throw. So you have to turn your head, find the ball, and make a play. And you want to avoid those self-inflicted wounds that plagued you last week versus the Giants. The Vikings actually had a shot to win that ball game. Self-inflicted wounds can't happen versus Green Bay. I like the Packers in this ball game. Too strong offensively, and I think defensively they will be able to apply pressure on Christian Ponder and force some errant passes and get those guys off the field. This is a very good matchup here between Atlanta and Arizona. Now for the Falcons in this ball game, you want to stay multiple on defense, in particular the front seven. And I have to say, I love the way those guys, those undrafted rookie free agent linebackers are playing. They're doing some great things for that defense. And that offensive line has to be able to pick up the blitz. Otherwise, Matt Ryan will not be as effective. And you want to go with that NASCAR-like approach on offense, speed up the tempo, force the Arizona Cardinals to stay disciplined, and that way you can have some big plays, not only in the passing game, but also in the running game. And for the Cardinals in this ball game, you want to win on special teams. That's the one aspect I believe you have the advantage over the Atlanta Falcons. You have an outstanding special teams unit with two great returners in Patrick Peterson and Tyrann Mathieu. Find ways to generate big plays for your football team by winning on special teams. You want to make it less about Carson Palmer and make it more about running the football, playing excellent third down defense. I know Palmer is the biggest detriment to team success right now, but you want to excel in other areas and you can win this ball game. And on defense, you have to make those one-on-one tackles in space. The Falcons put a lot of pressure on your secondary to make plays individually in space. If you can't do that, you can't win. This is a big game right here for both teams, and I honestly think the Cardinals will win. I think they'll finally put it all together offensively, play a great game, and I know Steven Jackson returns to this Falcons lineup, but I like the Cardinals defense more so than I like the Falcons offense. This is just a bad matchup, in my opinion, for the Falcons, so I like the Cardinals at home to come away victorious. Now let's move over to the NFC East as the Giants travel down to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. And for the Giants in this ball game, I will look at going more exclusively out of the gun versus this Eagles offense. It allows you to get your playmakers out there on the field. It also backs Eli Manning up from that offensive line, and that's how I think they can have some success offensively. And on the defensive side of football, I would go with more of an inverted cover 2 look versus Philly. That's how the Giants can compete, by getting a hand on those wide receivers, putting your safeties up front, and putting your corners back deep. and you have to play mistake-free football. They did a sound job last week versus Minnesota, and they need an encore performance execution-wise this week versus Philly. And for the Eagles in this ball game, you want to play horizontal on offense. The one element they have over the New York Giants is team speed. Force that defense to go sideline to sideline, and you can have some success. And also keep Deshaun Jackson on the inside. One thing he does well is eat up cushion, and also it gives him a two-way go. Once he reaches the deep part of that secondary, he can break to the inside, break to the outside, keep him on the inside, and you can hit big plays downfield. And on defense, play the run on the way to the quarterback until the Giants show they have the ability to run the football with some consistency. You can get aggressive in how you pressure Eli Manning. I like the Eagles in this ball game. Again, team speed gives the Giants problems, and the Eagles have a lot of it. I think they'll do a great job at home versus New York. And finally, we have a big game in the AFC East between the Dolphins and the Patriots. So let's go inside the lab to take a look at some X's and O's.
The one way the Miami Dolphins can have some success in the passing game this week versus New England is by utilizing the stick route in the slot. I'm going to show you what that concept is. And you're just basically reading the defender that's over the slot receiver. I'm going to show you what we have here. Just going to draw a half line. And the stick concept is this. You're just running, boom, a stop route, essentially. And you're reading this defender. Now, you always have a combo route behind it, a post, a slant, what have you. So let's say we have the skinny post behind this stick route. Now, let's say we have the corner playing up and the defender trying to get underneath this skinny post. What you want to do with the stick route, you want to first, this is where you're going with the football, but the guy running the stick route will then pivot and drift out into the flat. Why? Because you want to hit him right here so he can catch it, turn it upfield, make one miss, and perhaps take it to the house. Now, let's say this defender decides to close in on this stick route. You run the stick route, he works up, then closes down. Then you want to hit the skinny post. So it's a simple concept. Tannehill would just read this defender, which could be a backer, could be a corner, could be a safety, whomever that guy is in the slot. It's usually based on who you line up in the slot as well. But you're reading this defender and deciding whether or not you're going to go to the skinny post or the stick route. And I believe if they use this concept, they can essentially walk themselves down the field versus New England. It's all about being precise. It's all about reading on the fly, and it's all about making the pass. And once you complete that pass to this receiver, it's all about making one guy miss, and he could perhaps take it to the house. The two pass plays that Ryan Tannehill loves to complete, the deep in route and passes to the flats. Now, the New England Patriots can better protect themselves versus those pass plays this week versus the Dolphins, and I'm going to show you how they can pattern read on the fly and pass guys off and communicate and take away those two main options. And I'm a big fan of it, just like the coach Lehman Anderson states in his Coach 'em Up videos that he's a big fan of not playing the flats or covering the flats, but reacting to the flats. And I'm going to show you how the Patriots can react to the flats in this pass play. What the Dolphins want to do is expand your defense and get you going all over the field, and they want to hit this deep in route right here in the hole. So what we're going to do, we're going to send this guy on the outside on a post route. We're going to send him on the deep in route. We're also going to send this guy in the slot out to the flats. We're going to send the tight end up on a sit route over the center. He's going to sit over the center. That's why it's called a sit route. We're going to bring the running back just leaking out in the backfield. So you see how the Dolphins can expand your defense and attack your coverage zones. Now what the Patriots can do, let's go from left to right. The cornerback, he's going to ride the outside of this route because he knows he has the safety help who's going to come in and drift over. So now you have two guys squeezing this post route, taking it away. You also have the outside linebacker who's manned up over the tight end, getting a bump, but dropping back, just in case Tannehill wants to hit this here. This guy's in the passing lane, and he's closing in on the back that's leaking out of the backfield. The inside backer's job is to take away the sit route. Boom, plain and simple. Now what we have the backer on this side do, we're going to drop him all the way back underneath this in route. We're going to keep dropping him, keep bothering Tannehill's passing lane to this in route, drifting linebacker here. And we're also going to drift the safety back the same way, but he's going to react to the flat. He's reacting to the flat. Cornerback rides to top and comes over top because we know we're squeezing this in route. We're two guys. We're reacting to the flat. We cover the sit route. We're trying to get in the way of this passing window for this post, and we're squeezing the post here. So you see how just a simple pattern reading and reading coverages on the fly or reading routes on the fly, the Patriots can put themselves in position to be successful versus the key plays in the passing game that the Miami Dolphins love to run.
Now here are some coaching points for both teams in the ball game. For the Dolphins, banjo cover Gronkowski. That's playing him inside out. You want to bracket him, take him away, force Tom Brady to go to those other receiving targets. And you have to move the pocket for Tannehill. If you allow him to drop back and play from within the pocket, he's going to be a sitting duck because he holds the football long. So move the pocket for him. That also gets his feet moving. And movement in the running game is also key. Get those guards on the move, on those counters, those powers, those traps, and I think they can have some success running versus the Patriots. And for the Patriots, I will go with overload pressure versus Tannehill. That's going to, one, get the football out of his hands quickly, and two, put you in better position to get him on the ground. And on offense, small ball early, and that builds that rhythm, that builds that continuity, and also builds the confidence in that receiving core. Then you'll be able to attack intermediate and deep later on in the ball game. And on defense, you want to win inside. I like the way Chris Jones is playing. Big fan of his coming out of Bowling Green. Continue to win inside. Interior pressure kills the spread offense, and I think they can have some success versus Miami. I like the Patriots in this ballgame. I think right now their defense up front versus that Dolphins offensive line is the key matchup and will always be the key matchup when the Dolphins take the field. So I think they'll win that battle and ultimately win the ball game.